Hi, it's me, MC of Healthy by George, and I come to you every Thursday and Sunday. And today I want to talk about the power of measuring whatever your goals are. It's called tracking. And I'm somebody who really believes in tracking, although I struggle sometimes with the tracking process. So, why is it important? There's a famous quote. I forget who it is that said it, but it says, "You can't change what you don't measure." So I think when it comes to our health, if we're not measuring whatever it is that we want to change, if you're not weighing yourself, but maybe you don't want to weigh. So then take your measurements, take your waist measurement, your hip measurement, your arm measurements, your thigh measurements, whatever that is. Take the measurements if you don't want to weigh and at least track that monthly. Because that when you are aware of something, whatever it is, your weight, your size, your blood pressure, the number of steps you take, how long you've exercised, what's your heart rate when you're doing exercise, all of those things help us have power. And when it comes to health, the power comes from doing these things daily. I have really learned that over the past year and a half with me losing about 50 pounds with the use of Manjaro, but also with a lot of tracking and behavioral modification. Because it's never going to be, I know, with me and weight, it's never going to be a one and done. It's never going to be that. I have a long history of struggling since I was 10 years old. I don't know about you and how you've struggled with whatever weight challenges you've had or body size or whatever it is. The truth is that if you've been dealing with it a lot of times, I think there's multiple layers of what triggers you around weight or triggers you around food or triggers you around trying on clothes or whatever it is, or going to the doctor to check in or going to the dentist. The truth is that when we have been measuring or engaged in understanding a deeper awareness of the information without judgment, that I think is what the challenge is, that if you're measuring something, weight, blood pressure, your steps, how long you exercise, your calories, your physical activity in the day, or whatever you're measuring, your finances, measuring your finances, tracking your budget, whatever that is, tracking your sleep, whatever those things are, if you have no awareness about where you are right now, there's no way to give yourself the ability to make small steps to move towards a goal that you want to obtain. Because the truth is that we all know that challenges are going to show up in our day. Either work becomes overwhelming or they're requiring too much of us, or maybe you didn't feel so great or you fell down. I know I have been feeling discouraged, I think for me. I've been stuck at the same weight for about 2 to 3 months and it feels a little stuck, but you know what? It's okay. I'm maintaining at least, and that's a good thing. I haven't been able to be physically active because of my hip, and I'm not doing very well on the physical activity tracking. So I'm working. I think that's why I'm sharing with you about the need to track, is because the truth is I can't change anything I don't measure. And let's face it, if you're not doing enough physical activity in the day, you're not measuring it, you're not tracking it. So something's got to give. So the key is, why is this so helpful? Is because it deepens our awareness about where we are right now in the moment. And that gives us tons of power, tons of power. Because if we don't judge it, that's the key. Don't judge where you're at. It doesn't that judging you is not going to do anything except bring up some old negative thinking, and we don't need that any more than we already do. So let that go. Just look at it as pure information. This is just information. It's just numbers. It's just data. That's all it is. It's just information. And the truth is that it's so powerful because then you can start to see what are your patterns. Maybe when you don't sleep well, you have higher blood pressure and you can make some relationship. Or maybe when you are in a different mood or different season, maybe it's hard for you to get in the type of exercise that you want. Maybe you have to modify if it's the winter and you're someplace where it snows a lot and you used to do a lot of walking or running and you just hate the cold weather. You're going to have to modify and change what it is that you like to do for a certain type of exercise. So to me, it's about figuring out a way. And I'm investigating. I've never been someone who wants to wear the Apple Watch because I just can't tolerate feeling things on my wrist. But I am thinking about either getting an Aura ring or one of those Whoop rings. The rings I think I could manage. And to me, what I have read about these rings is they really do a great job of tracking heart rate, of tracking sleep, of tracking movement. And I think all of those things would be very helpful. I do track my steps right now, but if I don't bring my phone, I don't get the tracking of the steps. It's really helpful. And to find things like my blood pressure machine, I've got a really great blood pressure machine. And some blood pressure machines, they track the blood pressure inside the machine. Mine doesn't. So I just keep track of it in my list. And then it also, when I look back over the past year of my tracking, all these things that I'm tracking, I track my calories, I track my measurements of like my hip, waist, thighs, arms. I've tracked my steps, I've tracked my weight, I haven't tracked my sleep so well. And I have tracked my blood pressure and I track my protein, my carbs, my sugar's tough, man. And you start to see how much sugar you consume in a day if you just eat one thing that has a lot of sugar in it. It's really amazing how it really spikes everything. And I don't do a lot of what I think is monitoring of my sugar. So I'm going to investigate that as well. And I'll share that here. But the truth is that I'm not going to be obsessive about this. I just make it a ritual of where I get up in the morning and I track my medicines. I track certain things about my medicine and my pulse and my heart rate and my blood pressure and my steps and my weight. I'm not very good at measuring myself more frequently, so I'm going to start to do that every quarter. So I've taken my measurements for the first quarter and I've added those to the group. And it's nice to see. It's been a while since I took my measurements. It's nice to see how many inches I've lost. So that's cool. And the truth is that you need the information to understand what was going on the day that this happened, or where do I struggle to meet the kind of goals that I want to daily. And when you're tracking things and you recognize, like sometimes I'm not perfect. I forget to put it into the tracker. I forget to log it in. I have to go back and rethink, did I do that? Did I not do it? It's okay. Perfection is not what we're going for. We're going for just enough consistency. If you do 80% or 75% of whatever it is you want to track, then you are really going to make it work for you because it's just that you are going to start to understand over a time period of what it feels like when you can look back and go, oh, last year I was here. And you don't need to think about if you gained weight or you've lost weight. You don't judge it. You just see it as information. And it took me a while in therapy to do that. I think when you have a long history of judging yourself, like I have with my weight, it's very difficult sometimes to let go of that negative thinking. And you really have to work with yourself. Give yourself a mantra or give yourself some positive things to say if the negative thoughts come up. I know that happens sometimes when I look at the scale or I look at measurements, but the truth is it's okay. I'm not going to do this except to support my goals. I'm not going to be unrealistic. I'm going to be keeping it simple, which is key. And then finding a way to connect it to why I want to track. For me, because I'm in research, I love tracking and catching up data. I really do. So the truth is, I enjoy this, and I'm going to make I'm going to make a purchase, and I think it's going to be the Aura Ring because I've heard from women it's really good at capturing women's metrics, especially for sleeping. And sometimes our sleep, if it's disrupted, that's really what causes our cortisol levels to spike. So I really want to understand my sleep habits more and know that I'm getting better sleep. And all you have to do is tell yourself you're going to track as best as you can for 1 month or make a weekly commitment. Make a small commitment about something simple and just commit to it. I ritualistically check in the morning when I get up when I'm taking medications and I'm doing my morning ritual or journaling. And then at night, I just review, have I put that in? Have I put that in? Have I put my food in? And I have to say, I'm not always perfect. I sometimes forget and I look back and I go, oh, I didn't put that in. It's okay. It's all good because the key is just to make this as an extension of you taking care of you. I'm taking care of me by increasing my daily awareness of what I do in a day towards my health. And frankly, I love it. I do love tracking because when I go to see the doctor, I can pull it out, man. I can pull out all my data and give it to them. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're sitting in front of a doctor who really doesn't understand your health and how you think about your health, and you bring out some data, man, they start to look at you differently and they start to realize that you take your health seriously and you want them to meet you where you're at. And if they can't, you need to find a different doctor. I know that's true for me. If I don't have a doctor who's engaged with my health as much as I am, I'm going to look for somebody else because that's the key. You got to find someone who you feel you've got a partnership with your health. Not somebody who's not going to listen to you or share your concerns when you're talking about things that are about how you're living and how you're managing your daily attention to your health and well-being. Sometimes I think about tracking my mood or how I'm feeling. I know that came up a lot this week because I was having some downtime because I'm struggling with the issue around oh, that I'm having surgery in 5 weeks, and the pain is present every day when I put any weight on this hip on the left side. It's very challenging. But you know something? I have to remind myself too of all that I've gone through, my resilience, that I'm capable, and that as long as I am engaging every day and doing what I can, massage, heat, ice, those are the things that are going to matter in the end. And at the end of the day, I've got the schedule for the surgery and I will deal with it. So think about tracking something simple. If you've never tracked anything before, pick one thing or pick the top three that you would like to track. I know for women, for me, it'd be blood pressure and maybe sleep. Blood pressure and sleep. Or if you want to start out with something like measuring your waist and your hip, maybe just pick two things. You don't have to measure everything. Make it something that feels appealing to you as a tool, not a measurement of achievement or a measurement of how horrible you're doing. It's just a tool that shows you where you've been and where you'd like to go. That's all. It's a deeper awareness of what you physically are doing and you're not relying on your memory. You're actually looking at concrete information. And boy, when you start to see this, you start to realize, how can I help myself even further? And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be something super simple. And there's tons and tons of tools out there. I'll list a few that I think I've liked in the show notes, but do some research and find one that appeals to you, a tracker that appeals to you. A lot of people love these health watches. I think there's more than just the Apple Watch, there's others. There's a Fitbit, and I think there's some others that'll do some things that help you just track what you're doing in a minimalistic way if you want. So be well, my friends. This is your one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest, and let's make it so that we thrive and we have great health and mental well-being into our older age. Join me here. Think about subscribing. I'm here every Thursday and Sunday. Be well. Check me out. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.